Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that, and I really really appreciate the work that you guys put out. First of all, Gunifort, you are the first or one of the only Black publisher in West Europe. Is that correct?
Yes, self-claimed first and foremost.
Self-claimed. Okay.
So I don't have any.
Sisters, man.
Yeah, but this is the thing. It's actually a thing I want to speak out of existence. You understand? So,
Yeah.
and this year, we had the killing of George Floyd, and it made its way also here to the Netherlands, and we started protesting also locally, and a lot of activism off and online, and I received so many pieces of communication that actually made me realize at that moment that I was
Because
the only
everybody
one.
was like, go and read this book, go and read
Yeah.
that book. So how did that, is that one of the reasons why people came to you? Like,
100%. The 50% of all inquiries, to put it that way, were, do you have some book recommendations for me to read? But also something that we were talking about before, just because I do maybe have this a fairly unique work
Yeah.
or position, and academic background, same as Safi. A lot of people actually approach us with questions that we don't have the answers to.
I don't get it. Make it make sense, please.
Yeah.
So it was a whole lot of that this year. Of and that's why I believe in March we took a couple of weeks as Mendo just to also figure out ourselves, where we stand, what's happening in the world. I already told you that I'm not super interested in social media, so we didn't feel the pressure of uploading black squares.
That is
or
really
whatever.
good. Yeah.
And our result was just a letter to at least all of our clients, updating them,
Strong.
telling them where we stand in our journey. So we explained what our ownership structure is. I highlighted that I am the only Black publisher here in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
I explained what kind of responsibility I feel that gives me. And
What responsibility do you feel?
the most obvious one, is getting more marginalized people and people that don't really get the opportunities in traditional publishing companies, getting them published.
Yeah.
And basically, I don't even know what question you asked me, but
No, the responsibility you feel, and with Mendo, like you said, you guys did not focus on online, but more offline, basically to speak up, talk to your community. How do you feel like, even though, yes, we have to go through institutions and we don't fully own our own things, how is that for you as a film maker?
I mostly start from science, social science in this case.
What drew you to science, by the way?
Come again?
What drew you to science?
Oh wow, I was a kid. I was 8 years old. So I was born in Suriname, and I moved to the Netherlands when I was 5 or 6. And I went from houses that weren't higher than 2 stories to big flats 9 stories high. It was cold and all these different types of people, and me actually having to adapt to my environment. And what happened was that on Saturday, a 90s kid, in the 90s, I was like 7, 8. Kids used to watch Daily Kids, and I wasn't that kid. I would watch Discovery Channel, I would watch National Geographic, and I would watch the History Channel.
Yeah.
The problem was that every time I would watch, for example, some show about lions, they would show these majestic animals, and they would show these majestic animals in a way that they were just huge to me. But then all the shows ended with, yes, lions are amazing, but human beings. And if you're 8 and you're like, oh wow, lions, and then they say lions are amazing but human beings, and then they make a show about elephants or hippos or whatever, you keep getting amazed, but then you keep being introduced by this human problem.
Yeah.
And I was 8, and I knew that I wanted to do something about that human problem.
Yeah.
So when I was 12, my CITO-toets said, hey, you have to go to VWO. But unfortunately, I have ADD, And well, I had ADD. I was just a busy black kid in a white class, and they sent me to.
You had BBB.
Exactly.
Hey, this
And they sent me to the lower school in the Netherlands. They would call it the MAVO. And from there, I worked my way up, just because I had this idea to solve this human-induced problem. And when I when I was on the university, I had a problem with my professors because science never actually communicates.
It just does it by itself, you mean?
No,
or
basically, science has a code language. It's not like your average book. And if information isn't readily available to a lot of people, then that information can't be used. And I think, for once, I believe that our biggest resource is our brain.
Yeah.
The information that we can conceive, and then we can do something with that information. And what happened was that I started telling my professors that, hey, maybe it's an idea to just start communicating about the science that you do. And at the same time, a very good friend of mine was going to the Willem de Koning Academy, which is a film school in Rotterdam, and he taught me how to film. And basically, that's where I formed, because this is the answer to your question, that's where I formed my idea of what I would do with film.
Wow.